Hello everyone, my name is Alina. I'm a TFL junior student of Suleiman Demirel University, and today I'm going to present you my research is about using of artful thinking in English classes. So let's start. First of all, we will move to the content of the whole presentation. We will start from the purpose of the research. We will what is the significance of the research, and we will discuss the research questions, and then who participate in the research, which methods use it in all to collecting the data, which instrumentation that we use to conducting the research, and we also mentioned about we will talk about the literature review, about the previous studies, how it's differ, and then we will mention all research stages. Then we came to the results and the finding, and after all we will summary all the everything and make the conclusion. So the purpose of the research aimed to identify the TFL junior students' perception about using of art as a language learning tool, and the second aim is to find out how artful thinking fosters critical thinking skills. So the significance of this study is that art becomes a new language learning tool in Kazakhstani educational system. In this era of modernization, English language learning arise new approaches and new techniques which need to define and explore. This is exactly issue what's going to be searched in this study. We try to explore the views of Kazakhstani future teachers about using of artful thinking in English classes. The research questions first is what are the attitudes of TFL junior students about using of art as a tool in English classes, and the second question is how artful thinking can be used to practice critical thinking skills. So the study was carried out with TFL junior students of Suleiman Demirel University who have completed critical thinking course and have a background knowledge about how to teach critical thinking skills. And to achieve the main aim of the research, three TFL department students of third year of study from Suleiman Demirel University were engaged in this research. They are at age at 19 to 22. Their approximately language level is upper intermediate and advanced. The students were asked to participate in an interview that focuses on identifying the perception of about using of artful thinking in English classes. In conducting the study, the researcher used qualitative approach to collect the necessary data. Qualitative research is a type of educational research in which the researcher relies on the opinions of participants. There is not any numeric data in order to collect more in-depth answers to research questions of the study. The reason for using qualitative approach firstly, the focus of data collection is on exploring participants' views, attitudes, life experience, and the feelings. Secondly, it gives opportunities to researcher to create a friendly and safe atmosphere between participants and the researcher, so they will be able to freely express their personal opinions and to share with their own experiences. So research instruments, such as a part of qualitative data collection, there was used an interview, which is very helpful to identify the perceptions, opinions, experience, ideas, views of participants. The interview has got two purposes. The first purpose is to identify the attitudes of TFL junior students about using of art as a tool in English classes, and the second one is trying to find out how artful thinking fosters critical thinking skills. In order to cover each purpose of interview, it divided to the two parts. The first part focuses on identifying the perception of students about using art in English classes, and then in the second part of interview, students could practice one of thinking routine of artful thinking, see, think, wonder, then answer to post-interview questions about how artful thinking can foster students' critical thinking skills. So we came to the literature review. Is the first stage of our research is reviewing previous studies related to our topic, using of artful thinking in English classes. So number of these studies is not too much because of using art as a tool for learning languages, for foster critical thinking skills, is for foster problem solving skills, and to be a good human is some kind of modern approach which is haven't explored deeply yet, but these sources are introduced with the concept of art, how it can be used, what's the difference between art making and the art using, and how each of them influence to the skills of learners. We also talk about the impact of using of art in English classes, like it fosters academical knowledge, it fosters language skills, it develops literacy skills. Also, these studies presented the perception of European students, English language learners, and some students with maybe like poor language, with immigrant learners, and learners with some kind of disabilities, and how art influence to their learning process in their English classes. We also can talk about the art thinking concept, that this kind of studies, it gives us some concept that artful thinking is not focused on teaching English, but it's focused on makes their learners to think. So we try to collect all these studies and implement the language learning and critical thinking, and try to find out how they interact with each other, and if there's some connection between them. So we came to the research stages. As we said before, the first stage is review all previous studies related to the topic and systemating the information. The second one is prepare interview questions. After these questions were checked by scientist instructor in order to avoid some biases and prejudices, to check the validity and the reliability of the questions. So third one is collect consent letters from participants. It was done via Gmail. So first one is start collecting responses about students' perception of using artful thinking in English classes. So all interviews were audio recorded, and the approximately time, it was like 30-40 minutes for each interview, so it needs to make some pauses in order to save the friendly and friendly atmosphere between participant and the researcher. So and the last one is summing all the information and structuring it into the results, or into the research. Summing all information and structuring it into the research. So we came to the results and the findings. We concluded 3 findings from the whole data collection part. The major finding is that the concept of artful thinking is not popular in Kazakhstan education system. And the second finding is that according to the responses of TFL junior students, artful thinking contributes to the learning process by making it more interesting and engaging. So their perception was more positive rather than negative. So this last finding showed that there were many concerns against the use of artful thinking in English classes. All respondents claim that it is time-consuming, so some learners may not understand the concept of art. Learners may be afraid to express their ideas and the feelings. And overall, according to the results, this study suggests that TFL junior students of Süleyman Demirel University perceive positively for using art as a language learning tool for English language learners. However, using of artful thinking in English classes have some challenges and anticipated problems. The study came to the inference that the success and the failure of using artful thinking closely depends on the teacher, his choice, also skills of managing and interaction. In general, the interest of future teachers about using of artful thinking is on high priority. So Also, the research points to the important value that the using of artful thinking routines fosters learners' critical thinking and the problem-solving skills through covering the palette of thinking dispositions. The ability to think with reasoning and analyzing is the main focus of artful thinking classes. The person who can think meaningfully is demanded individual in modern society.